Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith, and today I want to speak directly to those of you who are staring down your 40th birthday with a sinking feeling in your stomach. You've worked hard, you've probably raised a family, and maybe you've had some changes in your career once or twice, and now you're realizing that retirement is closer than you like to admit. And the problem is your retirement savings account looks more like a puddle than a lake. However, before you panic, let me stop you right there. Hitting 40, 45, or even 50 years old without having a solid retirement plan is not the end of your story. It's actually the point where some of the most powerful wealth building tools finally become unlocked for you. Think of it like reaching level 40 in a video game. Yes, the enemies are tougher, but now you've got access to bonus weapons that the younger players did not have when they started this game. So in this video, I'm going to show you step by step a 5-part system that takes you from financial quicksand to building a 7-figure nest egg by the time you retire. And here's the best part. I'm not going to tell you to grind until you're 70 years old because that is complete nonsense. What I'm going to show you is practical, proven, and strategic. If you're ready to stop panicking about your future and actually want to start building it, then type the number 40 below in the comments or type your age, whether it be anywhere between 40 and your late 50s. That way I know that you're ready for this information. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Let's start with a few statistics. First, the situation that we're going to discuss is more commonplace than most people realize. The median retirement savings for American households is around $87,000, according to the Federal Reserve Board survey of consumer finances. Though this number varies significantly by age, with older age groups generally having higher balances, if you take a look at this example and you look at age groups 35 through 54, you have a median retirement savings ranging from $45,000 to $115,000. Here is another statistic. According to a USA Today survey from December 2024, nearly 60% of people are just scraping by without any savings or wiggle room when it comes to their budgets. What's even more surprising is that it's not just lower income Americans. Over half of the Americans making 6 figures are still living paycheck to paycheck too. The reason I'm pointing this out is to change your perspective. If individuals with high and low incomes are in the same place, this isn't necessarily an income issue. This has to do with the disconnect between the American people and financial literacy. However, once you get strategic and you follow this proven system, you'll be right back on track. So step 1, you want to build a budget that works. The very first step of your journey is to create a real budget. Now, I know the word budget will make a lot of people cringe. You might be picturing hours hunched over a spreadsheet, typing in numbers until your eyes glaze over, but trust me, a budget isn't about punishment, it's about clarity. And at 40 or older, clarity is exactly what you need. Now, there are 2 critical reasons why we have to start here. First, a budget shows you where you can cut unnecessary expenses. That's going to be the stuff that's draining your wealth without adding any real value to your life. Second, once you free up that money, you can redirect it towards paying down debt and building your savings. That's how you flip the script from falling behind to finally getting ahead. And to make this process simple, I've already created a free tool for you, and that's going to be my budget calculator, which you can download at www.successwithstevensmith.com, and that is, once again, completely free. You don't need to be an expert in Google Sheets or Excel to use it. I've already set up the categories, I built in all the formulas, and I've designed it so you can plug in your numbers and instantly see where your money is actually going. At this stage of life, the biggest problem usually isn't that you don't earn enough money. Statistically, people in their 40s and 50s are often earning the most they'll ever have. The real issue is that thousands of dollars will vanish into expenses that you have stopped questioning. For example, maybe a subscription that you barely even use. You also have car payments that eat up your entire paycheck, nights out that pile up into hundreds or even thousands of dollars every single month. Without a budget, money disappears. Start by pulling out your credit cards and your bank statements from the past 3 months and go line by line and highlight every single expense. Groceries, utilities, gas, takeout, $12 subscriptions that you forgot to cancel. You want to get everything. When you finish, you'll know exactly how much money is coming in and going out each month. Most people are shocked to see where their money actually goes. Once we've laid out your expenses, it'll be time to cut the unnecessary ones. So you want to ask yourself, Do I really need this? Is it adding value to my life? Could this money be doing more for me somewhere else? Cancel what you do not use. Downsize what you don't love. Trim the fat so you can keep the things that genuinely make your life better. And now comes the second piece, listing out your debts. You want to add these into the calculator or whatever tool that you prefer. Don't skip anything. You want to add your credit cards, your car loans, your personal loans, medical bills, buy now, pay later, balances, things like that. You want to add all of these. Once you've listed your debts, it's time to pick a strategy for paying them down. There are two popular approaches, and you can do one of either. The snowball method, which we've already talked about. You pay off the smallest debt first, no matter the interest rate. This gives you quick wins, it builds momentum, and it keeps you motivated. It's like rolling a snowball downhill. It starts small, but it grows as you keep going. Then there is the avalanche method. You pay off the debt with the highest interest rate first. This saves you the most money over time because it stops bleeding interest payments to the bank. If you need motivation and small wins to stay consistent, then go with the snowball method. If you're laser focused on saving money long term, the avalanche method might be better. The point is not to debate which method is best. The point is to pick one, commit to it, and start attacking those balances. Action beats perfection every time. Now we're moving on to step 2 of our strategy. It's time to set your retirement goals. Now, this is where a lot of people get overwhelmed. You've probably heard that you need at least $1 million to retire, but not everyone needs the same amount of money in retirement. In fact, I have an entire video showing you how to retire with $500,000. I run a few scenarios in that video and give some great examples backed by real data, so I highly recommend that you watch that video if you get a chance. I'm going to link it right here. Your retirement savings target depends on one thing above all else, your lifestyle. Imagine you want to retire and live on $5,000 per month. That includes everything: your housing, your groceries, your travel, hobbies, healthcare, and a little wiggle room for anything else. You want to add that up, and maybe we're talking about $60,000 a year if we're doing that $5,000 example. Now, with Social Security, most people will receive between $1,800 and $2,500 per month, depending on their earning history and when they claim their benefits. Let's split the difference and say you get around $2,200 a month. That's $26,400 per year covered by Social Security, which means your savings only needs to produce around $33,600 annually. At a safe withdrawal rate of 4%, that means you need around $840,000 saved to retire comfortably for roughly 20 years or longer, not $1 million. But let's say you want a little more flexibility. You like to live on $7,000 per month. That's $84,000 a year. If you subtract the same Social Security income, you would need your portfolio to cover about $57,600 annually. At a 4% withdrawal rate, that comes out to about $1.5 million saved. So you see the difference? Same retirement, but one person's enough is $840,000, while another person is closer to $1.5 million. Here's one piece that people miss. Your plan needs to be flexible. Maybe you are hoping to retire at 67, but it makes more sense for you to work until 70. Now, I'm not saying that you should, but that's 3 more years of saving and compounding, plus 3 fewer years of withdrawals. That's a massive swing in your favor. Maybe you pick up a part-time consulting gig in retirement. Even $1,000 a month from a side hustle can drastically reduce how much money you need to save or how much you need to withdraw from your savings. Or maybe you decide to move. Because I'll be blunt, living in like California or New York is expensive. Moving to a low-cost state or even a different country can slash your expenses in half without sacrificing lifestyle. I know some people who retired in Mexico or Portugal or Costa Rica who live like royalty on $3,000 a month. So don't let a single scary number freeze you in place. Your plan should be to adapt to your goals, your health, your career, and even your geography. Once you know your monthly need, you can work backwards. Say you're 40 right now, but you want to hit $1 million by 57. That's 17 years. Assuming an average of 7% return, you need to save about $2,800 per month. Now, maybe you hear that and think, there's no way I can swing that right now. And that's okay. Remember, you're not locked into anything. Steps 3, 4, and 5 will show you how to close that gap with catch-up contributions, smarter investing, and lifestyle optimization. The most important part of step 2 is having a target. If you don't know where you're aiming, you'll never hit the mark. Now we're getting to the good part. This is where being older becomes a secret advantage in step 3. Now, the government gives people in their 50s a tool that younger savers can't use called catch-up contributions. Catch-up contributions are additional funds that individuals aged 50 or over can contribute to retirement accounts, like their 401k and their IRAs, on top of the standard annual contribution limits. These extra contributions are intended to help older workers make up for years of undersaving, allowing their money more time to grow through compounding and providing tax advantages. Here's how it works. The standard 401k limit is $23,000 per year at the time of recording this video. But once you hit 50, you can throw in an extra $7,500. That's $30,500 total. For an IRA, the limit is $7,000 per year, but after 50, you can toss in an extra $1,000. That's $8,000 total. So just between a 401k and an IRA, you're looking at nearly $40,000 per year that you're allowed to shelter for retirement. And that doesn't even include an HSA if you qualify for that, which also has catch-up provisions. So let's say that your employer offers you a 50% match up to 6% of your salary. That's an automatic $1,800 per year. Invested for 17 years at a 7% growth rate, that alone could compound it into $52,000 to $55,000. Now imagine if you start contributing 10% of your salary. That's $7,800 per year, including the match. Over 17 years with conservative growth, you're looking at around roughly $240,000 to $260,000. Bump that to 20% contributions, and that puts you at the $430,000 to $450,000 range. So with consistency and catch-up contributions, you could realistically build $250,000 to $500,000 between ages 50 and 67, even if you started later in life. So here's what you need to do. Number 1, you need to max your employer match. This is a non-negotiable. A 50 to 100% return on day 1 is something no stock or bond or real estate deal can beat. Number 2, eliminate high interest debt. Any debt that's above 10% interest needs to go. Every dollar you free up is a dollar that can go into retirement. Number 3, push every extra dollar into tax advantage accounts. Use the catch-up contributions if you're still behind. That's the fastest way that you can pull yourself up. Step number 4 is to invest wisely and avoid the traps. You've started saving, you're making use of catch-up contributions, and the money is building up in your accounts. Now comes the question almost everyone gets stuck on. What should you actually do with the money once it's there? This is where fear, bad advice, and panic can destroy years of progress. Let's start with the biggest mistake that people make. They let their retirement money just sit in cash. On the surface, I know it feels safe. There's no volatility. It's not going up and down. Your balance isn't moving during market swings. But there's a silent thief at work here that we know all too well, and that's inflation. So think about it. Over a 15-year period, $1 today might only buy you 70 cents worth of goods. That means if you let your retirement savings sit idle, you've already lost a third of your purchasing power by the time you need it the most. So while playing it safe does feel comfortable, it's actually one of the riskiest moves that you can make. The money may look the same on paper, but it buys a lot less when you retire. The other extreme is going all in on a risky investment. So the solution that I would suggest is balance. For most people starting in their 40s or 50s, a 70 to 30 portfolio, about 70% stocks and 30% in bonds, I would suggest that as being a sweet spot. The 70% in stocks gives you enough growth to outpace inflation and to build wealth, and the 30% in bonds provides stability and cushions when the stock market dips. And here's the key. With 15 to 17 years ahead of you, you have time to ride out market cycles. The market will drop at some point, maybe more than once, but history shows it always recovers. Your job is to stay invested so you're still there for the recovery. You don't need complicated strategies or expensive financial managers charging you 2% of your wealth every year. Those fees are wealth killers. Over decades, they can eat up hundreds or even thousands of dollars that you could have kept. The truth is, most investors, even professional fund managers, fail to beat the market consistently. So instead of trying to outsmart Wall Street, just be the market. You can do this with the total US stock market index fund. This gives you ownership in thousands of American companies. An international stock market index fund will spread your investment globally so you can benefit from the growth in the economy. A bond index fund provides steady growth and stability. That's it. 3 funds, broad diversification, rock bottom fees, and automatic compounding. This is the hands-off option. Now, if you want to get even more hands-off, consider a target date retirement fund. These are designed to automatically adjust your stock to bond ratio as you get closer to retirement. You simply pick the fund that's closest to your expected retirement year. For example, let's say it's 2040 or 2045, and the fund does the rebalancing for you. At first, it leans heavier towards stocks to maximize your growth as you age, and then it gradually shifts towards bonds to protect your nest egg. It's simple, it's effective, and requires almost no maintenance at all. The goal in this stage isn't to gamble or hide, it's to strike the balance. Aggressive enough to grow while safe enough to sleep at night. The right investing strategy should be kept simple, consistent, and it should quietly do the heavy lifting for you over the next 15 to 20 years. Now let's talk about step number 5, optimize your lifestyle and your income. So if you're in your 40s or 50s and you're feeling behind, saving and investing are only half the equation. The other half is increasing your income and optimizing your lifestyle. Now, at this stage of life, chances are you're in your peak earning years. You've built decades of experience, knowledge, and skills that are extremely valuable. So don't let them go to waste. Think about it. Every skill you've picked up over your career can be monetized in some way. It might not look like your full-time job, but it can absolutely add to your financial arsenal. Turn your expertise into consulting or freelancing. Companies will pay for your experience and problem-solving abilities, and you get to set your own terms. Maybe a tutor, maybe a coach. You can also teach online. Platforms like Zoom, OutSchool, or even a personal website make it easy for you to share your knowledge in areas that you already excel. Try picking up enjoyable part-time work. Think about something that you do anyway, but now you're getting paid for it, whether it be photography, maybe fitness, coaching, or even working a few hours in a field that you love. The key is this: even a modest side hustle can transform your retirement math. Let's run the numbers. An extra $500 to $1,000 per month invested consistently doesn't sound like much, but over 15 to 20 years at an average 7% growth rate, that can add anywhere from $150,000 to over $300,000 to your retirement. Now let's talk about one of the most overlooked income strategies, and that's going to be optimizing your Social Security. Most people don't realize that if you delay collecting past your full retirement age, your benefits grow about 8% per year until age 70. That could mean the difference between receiving $2,000 a month at 67 versus $2,600 a month at 70. Now, on the surface, $600 per month might not sound like life-changing money, but if you stretch that out over 20 years of retirement, you're looking at an additional $150,000 in lifetime benefits. That's a serious boost, and it's guaranteed. So if your health allows and your finances can support it, you should delay collecting that benefit. This can be one of the smartest retirement moves that you'll ever make. Of course, if you're starting late, you'll have moments where doubt creeps in. You'll open up your account, you'll see the balance and think, what's the point? I'll never catch up. But here's what you need to remember. This journey is not about perfection, it's about consistency. You want to celebrate small wins. Your first $10,000 saved, that's an accomplishment. When you get out of debt or start paying it down, that's also an accomplishment. The first time you max out your 401k, these milestones matter because they build momentum. You should expect setbacks, the market will dip, life will throw you curveballs, an unexpected car repair or medical bill might slow down your progress, but that's normal. You want to adjust, you want to keep going, and you want to stay the course. Here's the truth. Savers in their 40s or their 50s are often more successful than those who got started young but got lazy. Why? Because you've lived through the mistakes, you've seen what doesn't work, and now you're serious about committing to do what needs to be done. At the end of the day, the difference between those who retire stressed and those who retire secure isn't who made the most money or who started earliest, it's who stayed consistent even when things were tough. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Starting a retirement plan at age 40 or even 50 is not a death sentence for your retirement dreams. It's actually the beginning. Create a budget, cut excess spending, pay off debt, and set realistic goals. Know your number, be flexible with your plan. You also want to use those catch-up contributions, and you want to max out your accounts and let compounding work in your favor, as well as invest wisely. If you know someone who needs to watch this video, please share it with friends or family or anyone who might just need encouragement. And most importantly, believe in yourself. You have the tools, now it's your time to use them. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video, and you guys have a wonderful day.